Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture where I will be discussing about list. So in the previous lecture we have discussed about texts, right? So you can go and check out that video if you have not watched, and in this lecture we are going to study about list. So Python knows a number of compound data types used to group together other values. Okay. So in Python, we are having what? Compound data types. Okay. What is the meaning? That means such kind of data types in which multiple types of data we can store. We can store string, we can store integers, we can store boolean. So that is known as compound data types. Okay, which is used to group together other values. That means different types of values we can group together. Okay, so multiple data types are there like that. Out of these, the most versatile one is list. Okay, which can be written as a list of comma separated values between square brackets. Okay, so how can we represent list we can represent inside square brackets, as you can see the example, and the elements are comma separated. Okay, so by separating it with comma you can write all the elements. Okay, now list might contain items of different types, but usually the items all have the same type. Okay, so you can create a such kind of list where different items are present, different types of data, like string is also there, integer is also there. Okay, so such kind of list can be created, but in general definitely we don't have data like that, right? Generally we make a list of numbers only or a list of characters only, so generally the items are of same type. Okay, so like you can see the example here, one squares variable has been taken, and in this we are storing what? We are storing list. Okay, so the list is containing 1 4 9 16 25. They are present inside square bracket and they are separated by comma. Okay, so if you print the list like this by writing the name of the list, then the list will be printed. Okay, so like strings and all other built-in sequence types, list can be indexed and sliced. So about indexing and slicing, I discussed in the previous lecture where I was teaching text, because strings are also having indexes, right? In that also slicing is possible. So there I already discussed about it. And similarly in list also indexes are present, that is from 0 to n minus 1, and also the negative indexes which starts from -1, right? So these things are possible, and also we can do slicing here. Okay, so squares of 0, that means 0 always points to the first element, right? So here it will print 1 because 1 is the first element in this list. -1 if you're trying to use, in that case what will happen? The last element of the list will be printed, which is 25 here. Okay, after that here slicing is done, right? That is -3. So where is -3? -3 is actually this ninth, right? This 9 element is having the index of -3, and because of that from -3 till last all the elements will be printed, because the last index, the limit is not given. So in that case it will go till last and print all the elements. So that is why 9, 16 and 25 are printed. Okay, so all slice operations return a new list containing the requested elements. This means that the following slice returns a shallow copy of the list. Okay, so here whatever we are doing the slicing, after doing that slicing, whatever is the result, that result is actually, it creates a new list actually, and that new list is printed. Okay, so because of that we can say that the list is getting copied in a shallow manner, right? So that is your shallow copy. So shallow copy means one new object is created, right? And to that refers to this particular list. So more, if you want to know about shallow copy and deep copy, you can go to this link and study about it. Okay, similarly, now list also support operations like concatenation, like we have already seen in case of strings. If two strings you, in between two strings, if you write the plus symbol, in that case, the strings get added, right? So in a very similar way, list can also be added like this. So for list also concatenation is possible. Okay, all right. Now unlike string, right? So it is having a similarity with string, that is it provides concatenation, okay? But again, it is having some differences as compared to string, and the difference is strings were immutable, right? I hope you have watched the previous lecture. So in that case, I discussed that in string, you cannot, once a string is created, in that you cannot make any changes. If anything, you're adding some extra character or whatever changes you're doing, in that case, what will happen? One new string will be created, right? And the object will refer to that new string, okay? So, but in case of list, what is there? In list, lists are mutable. So here we can do changes, okay? So if here you want to change the content, like for example, um, as you can see here, this is the list of cubes, right? Then in cubes of 3, what is, they're storing something, right? Right now the cubes of 3 is what? 0, 1, 2, 3. So right now it is 65, okay? But you want to store 64, right? So in that case, we are storing and the value is getting changed to 64, right? So that means in list, we can change the elements. After that, you can also add new items at the end of the list by using the append method, okay? So in list, if you want to add some elements at the last, okay, then you can use append. So append is always used when element you want to add in the last position, okay? Now, what if you want to add in first position or maybe in middle? So for that, we will see it later. Many other methods are there for list, which we are going to see later, okay? But as of now, this append you can remember. After that, what is there? Assignment to slices is also possible, and this can even change the size of the list or clear it entirely, okay? So it can happen that first of all, you're slicing some list, and that sliced list you're storing in some new variable, right? So that is also possible. As you can see here, some letters from A to G, the letters are stored in this variable, right? After that, we are doing slicing, right? 2 to 5, okay? And this 2 to 5, whatever slicing is there, that in that particular part, what I'm trying to assign, trying to assign C, D and E, right? And after that, if you print the list, then the new value will get updated, okay? So this is how. Now it can also happen that, let us say, in that whatever part you're taking out from 2 to 5, in that you're storing nothing, like empty list, right? In that case, nothing, any element will not be present for that. So finally, if you print the list, this element will appear, right? So that's what it is saying, that it can also result in changing the size, or maybe it is clearing the list completely, right? If you're, let us say, writing this way, so if you're not giving any starting limit or end limit, then that means it will take the entire list, right, from beginning to last. And in that, what you're storing, in that you're storing empty list. So that means actually what you're trying to do, you're storing nothing in the list, okay? So later, if you try to print, it will print empty brackets, okay? So these are the things you can do. Then the built-in function is also there, which is length, right? So by this length function, you can count that how many elements are there in the list, okay? All right, now it is also possible to nest list, okay? If you want to perform nesting, that means inside list only some element is there which itself is a list, so that is possible, okay? So as you can see here, A is some list which is storing ABC, N is another list which is 1 2 3, and X is having AN, right? Now X is printed, so X is printed. So what it is printing? It is printing ABC, because here A means what? Actually it is referring to this variable. So whatever is the value of this variable, that will come here, right? So what is the value? Value is this value is a list itself, right? So in that case, this will come as the first element, which is ABC, okay? And then here N is there, so N also is a variable, so its value will be accessed. So here what value will come? This entire list will come, and that is why this is the element, okay? So I hope it is clear. After that, X of 0, if you do, then here you have to understand that this entire list is the first element, right? So that is why if X of 0 you're doing, it is printing the entire list, that is ABC, okay? Now if specifically you want to just pick up these these elements, that is A separately you want to take, B separately you want to access. In that case, what you have to do, you have to write the indexes this way. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? Meaning of this is, first of all, you are in the 0 location, so 0 means this first element which is referring to this list, and in this also you want to, in this list you want to go to the first index which is B. Okay, so that is how you are getting B here. Understood? So in this way you have to keep on writing the indexes as much as nesting has been done. Okay, so I hope all these points are clear. Now let us go to the terminal and see everything practically, right? All right. All right, so this is the terminal. So let us start doing everything whatever we studied in the documentation. So invoke the interpreter first, and after this let us first of all create some list. So let us say 1, 2 and 3 I'm storing, and then I am printing the list. So list will be printed. Okay, as I said, different types of value we can store here. That means different data types, right, can be there. So in that case, let us say first I am storing some string which is high, after that maybe some number 45, after that let us say some boolean value which is true, then maybe some floating point, that is something like this. Okay, so all these are stored. Okay, this entire thing is my list, that means and the list is containing different types of values, right? So now if I print the list, I am getting all the values, any error did not come, that means list can have all these different types of values. Okay, after that, as I said that the list content can be changed, so let us say L of 0 I want to change to by. Okay, in this case what will happen, so the change has been made. Now if I print this L, then by is printed, right? So that means I am able to make some changes in the list, which means it is mutable. Okay, so the list is mutable. Okay, after that concatenation, as we were discussing, right? So with this L, let us say if I try to add something, okay, let us say 8 comma 9, if this I try to do, then let us see what will happen. So here you see whatever L was there, right, that list is present here till here, and after that 8 and 9 I wanted to join, so 8 and 9 got joined. Okay, so this is what happens. So this is how list got concatenated. Okay, okay, so now I think you can see the screen. Okay, all right, now in this let us say we can also, like if the previous lecture you have seen, then there with a string we used to use the asterisk operator also, right, for repeating the string multiple times. So let us see that in list it is possible or not. So list into, let us say 2 if I do, then let us see what will happen. So yes, that is possible here also. Okay, you see whatever was the content of the list from here to here, that is repeated twice, right? So that means into 2 if you do, the entire content of the list will be repeated twice. So that means if 10 times you are doing, 10 times the content will be repeated, and the size of the list will also increase by 10 times, right? So that is something which you can do here. Okay, after that let us see the, so let me take another string, another list actually. Let us say something 1 2 3 4 5, very simple numbers. And now let us see the indexing and slicing. Okay, so if I print L of 0, then of course 1 we will get, which is the first element, right? After that let us say if I am doing of 4, in that case it is printing 5, because this list is containing 5 elements, so the so the indexes will be from 0 to 4. If from left to right we see, then 0 to 4 it will be. So that is why this L of 4 will give me the last element, which is 5. Okay, all right, after that let us see the negative indexing also. So if I write here -1, in that case it is again giving 5, because 5, that means what, 5 is having 2 indexes, right? 4 also and -1 also. -1 if we see from the right side. Okay, similarly L of -2 I can print, let us say. So in this case it is giving us 4, because 5 is -1, so 4 is -2. So in this way it is moving. Okay, same thing here also. If you give some invalid index, let us say I am giving L of 30, which does not exist, right? So many elements are not there. In that case I am going to get error. Okay, so what kind of error it is giving? Index error. Okay, because this index is not present, so index is out of range. Clear? Okay. After that, let us see slicing. So we can do it this way, that 1 to, let us say, till 4 I want to access all the elements. So 1 means it will start from 1, as you can see these elements, right? So it will start from 1, which is the element 2, and this 4 is not included, right? So that is why 1 2 3, so this 2 3 4 will be printed. Okay, all right. So similarly, you can do it from this also, from the negative side also. So from the negative side, let us say if I am writing -3 till maybe nothing. Okay, in this case, what it is giving? It is giving 3 4 5, because -3 is at this location at 3, right? So -3 and it will go till last. Okay, so -3 -4 and then -5, these will be printed. Okay, all right. Now, as we were discussing, that we can assign the sliced, you know, sliced list also we can change. So in that case, let us say whatever this 1 to 4 is there, or 1 to 3 is there maybe. Okay, in that, what we can store? We can store, let us say, some other elements, which is 10 comma 20. If this we are writing, okay, so this is done. Now let us print the list. So 10 20, which is at this location, right? Because slicing we have done from 1 to 3, that means basically 1 and 2, these two indexes will be changed, and they are changed to 10 and 20, right? So this is how this is possible, which we discussed, right? Okay, all right. Then we also saw the append function, right? So let us just clearly see the append and length function. Okay, so let us say in the list I want to append something, so append 100. Okay, so if I do that, and now if I print this list, in this case at the last location 100 is printed, right? So this we can do. But if you try to append more elements, let us see what will happen. Let us say after this I want to append 200 and 300. Let us say if this is how we do it, then in that case we are going to get error. Okay, so very clearly it is saying that list.append takes exactly one argument. So please remember that using append, only one element we can append, that also only at the last. So these are the limitations of this method, and in that case how to store elements in other locations, that we will be discussing later. Okay, all right. Then after that we are having the length function. So length of L, if I try to print, then it is printing 6. Why 6? Because this is the current list actually, because 200 300 did not get added, right? So this is my current list, and it is containing 6 elements. Okay, so that is why the length is 6. All right, so I hope till here whatever we have discussed, that is clear. After that, also we saw that nesting of list is possible, right? So like for example, I can write the list like this: L is equal to, let us say, 2 5. Okay, after that let us say 10 20. So you see this entire thing is an element actually, because the elements are separated by comma. Okay, so this entire thing from here to here, this is one single element for this list. Inside that again, list means it is a list only. Okay, all right. So in this case, after that we can add some more elements, maybe let's say 45 also, and then done. So now if I print this list, so exactly the list will be printed. Okay, then we can also do it this way. Let us say some other list is there, which is n. So n is equal to, I am writing let us say 100 200 and then L. Okay, so this is what I have written. That means the first element is 100, second is 200, and the third element is going to be this entire list. Okay, so now if I try to print it, so n I have to write, and then you see the entire list is printed. So you see the first element is 100, second is 200, third element is this entire list, and in this list itself again this particular list is also present, right? So this is how the nesting is possible. You see total actually 3 brackets are coming, that means 3 lists are nested. Okay, so now what if I want to access all these elements, right? So let us say 200 if I want to access, so that is directly present in the list n. Okay, that means it is a direct element. So for that case I just have to write n of 1 and it will give me 200. Okay, now let us say this 5 I want to access. Okay, this 5 or maybe this 45, this 45, right? In that case what we have to do, see, first of all we have to see this, that this list is which element. Okay, so it is the, means what is the index of this, so this is having the index 2. Okay, now in that index again 45 is present, where that we have to see in this particular list. Okay, so that is 0 1, this entire is 2, and then this is 3, right? So that means basically if I write n of 2 and then here 3, then I am getting 45. Okay, so this is how nesting you have to understand. First of all, you have to write the index of the direct list, direct element. Inside that again, whatever list is present in that, what is the index. Again inside that, if you have to go, then what is the index. So like this you have to see that to which level you are going, those many indexes you have to mention. Okay, after that, let us say from here I want to access this 10. Okay, from this n I want to access 10. In that case, how to do? So those many times you have to do the nesting. Okay, so first of all we have to come to this list which is having the index 2, right? So 2. After that, this particular element we have to come, right? This element is also 2 for this particular list, right? Because this element 2 is having the index 0, then 5 is 1, and this list is having the index 2, right? So again here I have to write 2. After that, whatever 10 is there, that is present where? Only the small list, if you see, only this list now. So here, where 10 is present at 0, right? Only this list, if you see, then 0, 1, like this, the indexes are there. So that means I have to write here 0. Okay, so if I write that, then you see 10 is accessed. Understood? So now you can try by yourself, like how to access 100 from here, right? These kind of exercises you can take for yourself, or otherwise you can comment down and I will check that your answer is right or not. Okay, so please write that how can you access 100, okay, what indexes you will write, then how to access 5, and then how to access 20. So for these things you write the code and comment. All right, so this is how you can do the nesting part. Okay, and I think overall whatever is mentioned in the documentation till now, all the operations I have shown. Okay, so now it is your job to try the things by yourself, okay, with different types of list and different sizes of list, and do all the types of operations possible. Okay, if you are having some kind of doubt that if we do this, if we do that, then what is going to happen, so don't ask, do it actually by opening your interpreter and see what you're getting. If by chance you're not understanding, then you can definitely ask me and I will try to help you. Okay, so let us go back to the documentation, and here this was everything about list. Okay, now in this particular unit, that is unit 3, one small topic is still remaining, that is first step towards programming. This I will be discussing in the next lecture. Okay, so I'm ending this lecture here. Thank you.